One of the Western Conference Finals. You see there Anthony Edwards and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Those guys are the top two scorers in total points in the NBA this year. First time they met in the conference or NBA Finals, top two since Steph and Harden a decade ago. And drawing first blood, the three over Chet Holmgren. And then the man who was the man in the first half for the Wolves was that guy, Julius Randle. Corner three there, Timberwolves up 5. And then Edwards driving, you heard the whistle, and you see him grab that right ankle. He rolled the same ankle in the Lakers series, did it again in the Warriors series. Something to keep an eye on.
Tim Legler is here. It's not that the Thunder were down. It's that they were down at the half. They were down midway through the third. Then they outscored the Timberpups by 14 in the third quarter. So how did they find their groove? How did they get it together?
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was able to get to his sweet spot, and that's the mid-range area of the floor. In the first half, Minnesota did a great job of forcing him to either be a deep jump shooter or everything was at the restricted area. He only had 2 mid-range jump shots in the entire first half, and he went 2 for 13. He comes out to start the third quarter, and this is the one he wants right there. He goes full speed. Nobody stops on a dime the way Shai Gilgeous-Alexander does. He gets that little lean back jumper. He was also aggressive here, as you can see him around the rim, that time with his own putback. But this is the shot that has defined Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's season and really the last several seasons for him. It's that 18 to 20-foot jump shot off the dribble in a one-on-one setting, and he was able to get to that. And I thought it calmed his team down. When you start to see your best player operate with efficiency, everybody starts to calm down, and then they stay in their lane, and then Oklahoma City's defense took over.
Because he wasn't shooting well in the first half.
Right.
He only had 11 points in the first half. It wasn't just their offense, though, in the second half. If you think about the defense, they calmed Julius Randle, and then, of course, in the fourth quarter, we'll get to a little bit more of Anthony Edwards, but at the end of the day, he had 0 points. So when you look at what the defense was able to do for OKC, what impressed you the most?
You know, think about what OKC did this year as a team. These things shouldn't go together. Number one, in defending the three-point line, while defending the paint at the highest level. Like, those two things shouldn't go together. And also giving up the fewest points in transition. That's what this team is defensively. That's their identity. And you saw that on full display in the second half. Outscored them 70-40 in the second half. And this defense swarming, picking up every 50-50 ball. The activity with their hands. And I just thought they made Minnesota's life miserable. Minnesota took 50 three-point shots in this game, almost twice as many as 2-point shots. That's not who they are as a team. And Julius Randle, Rudy Gobert, and Anthony Edwards, of course, not able to get anything in the paint at all. Not enough balance in their offense.
Just real quick, what's your level of concern when it comes to Ant's ankle?
Very, because when this game was still within reach, 10, 12-point game in the fourth quarter, Anthony Edwards has erased those deficits by himself. He could not get to that shot going left where he pushes off his right foot to get separation. This is the play he hurts it. I believe it's the first quarter. The entire second half, he did not take any jump shots going to his left, which requires you to push off on your right foot. He might not say it after the game. He might want to ignore it. I think it's a factor. At least in this game, it was. His aggressiveness was taken away from him from that point on. It's not an excuse. OKC played great. They dominated in the second half, but it was a factor. You can't deny it. He'll have 48 hours to figure it out for game 2.
Assists, 3 steals. The first 30-point game of the Western Conference Finals by a Thunder player since KD in 2016. Points in the paint, Thunder 54, T-Wolves 20. Nick, as I mentioned earlier in the lead-in, this was a very close game at the half. And in the second half, it's like the Thunder stepped on the gas and made the Wolves play for every time they turned the ball over. They made them play the ultimate price. They cashed in. They laying it up. They got fouled or they're making threes. What is it how are the Thunder able to do this? They able to get to a gear and seemingly other teams can't keep up with them.
I think tonight, I think Minnesota played right into their hands. And Minnesota kept the ball above the free throw line pretty much the whole night. So it was easy for OKC's defense to play boxes and elbows. So anytime they had the ball up top, they're looking at 3 defenders, a guy on the ball and 2, at the elbows. And they had no driving lanes, and they didn't cut. So anytime somebody put the ball on the ground, OKC got active hands.
Extra hands.
They're going to get deflections, and those deflections normally turn into steals. So I think, that first game is a field game. They're gonna figure it out as far as what adjustments they need to make, both teams. But Minnesota got to move the ball and they got to change their offense a little bit.
Yeah, because I'm looking at, they only had two guys in double figures. Ant was 5 of 13, 3 of 8 from the three. Julius Randle was great again, 28 points. He was 9 of 13 from the floor, 5 of 6 from the three-point line, 5 of 6 from the free throw line. He had 28 big points, but you got 7 points from McDaniels, 2 points from Rudy Gobert, 7 points from Mike Conley. Like I said, only 2 players in double figures. And when you got the opposing team, they got 4 players in double figures. That leaves a lot. That leaves a lot for you to try to make up from your bench. And if you look at it, OKC has the better of the two benches. So now you're going to really need to rely heavily on your starters in order for you to have a chance to win this game. Ocho, you looking at Timberwolves. I know you like the Timberwolves and Ant-Man. What disappointed you most about what you saw from the OKC Thunder
Obviously,
tonight?
from the Thunder, no. Well, no.
The T-Wolves tonight.
Well, first off,
yes.
Offensively, right? Everybody, the game started off very slow. Obviously, Julius Randle had a good first half, but I need Ant-Man to be a little bit more aggressive offensively. The rest of the team collectively as a group. I'm not talking about the bench. I'm talking about the starters. Before we even get to the bench, I need them to have better movement. It seemed like everybody was very stagnant, standing in one place. I understand the pick and rolls, but nothing seemed like it was flowing smoothly, and they weren't working as a unit, cohesively. Outside of that, listen, the Thunder did what they needed to do. Defensively, they smothered them, and it seemed like every shot, Nick, I know I'm not tripping, every shot that the Wolves tried to take, it not only was it contested, it seemed like it was difficult for them to even get a goddamn shot off.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I'm looking at
every time they
before you go, Nick. I'm looking at Julius Randle had 13 shot attempts. Ant-Man had 13 shot attempts. Naz Reid was 1 for 11. DiVincenzo was 3 of 14. Nickeil Alexander-Walker was 3 of 11. That's not nearly enough shot attempts for your two best players. Y'all in the low teens, 13 and 14, 13 and 13 respectively, and you got bench players that's getting more shots than you guys. They're definitely going to have to change the game plan and do something differently. Like you said, Julius Randle played really, really well tonight, but Ant-Man, they're gonna need 2 or 3 guys to come along with Julius Randle if Randle's going to continue to play this well. And I don't see any reason why he's not, because they don't have anybody on the opposing team that can take it. He's too big of a body. He's too strong. He's too powerful. He's hitting his 3-point, and when he put 3-point shot, and when he puts the ball on the floor, who can stop him? But when you look at this, Nick, and you see a team, they held him to 35% from the from the floor, 29% from the 3-point line. You're not beating OKC with those percentages.
Well, you're not going to beat OKC with that offense. That's
okay.
One. So their offense was so predictable. Okay. OKC just loaded up on them. So I'm watching that game, and they're going to have to find a way to get Anthony Edwards out of the corners more. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Have him coming up and then getting downhill. Him playing at the top of the court with 2 guys on this side waiting on, it's not going to work. And they got a good enough coach. They're going to go watch film. They're going to make adjustments. And all of that, like with those guys getting those extra shots with Conley and DiVincenzo, and with them getting those, that's not a problem, because tonight they forced them to take those shots, right?
Okay.
They forced them because they said, Ant, you're not going to beat us, Ant, especially with you just playing in one spot on the court. They got to move them around a little bit, get them in better spots. And I saw in the second half for OKC, what they did, they started coming out of the corners, getting more ball movement, creating the single side a little bit easier, and they was able to get easier shots. So once they look at the film, Coach Finch is pretty good to make that adjustment. So game 1, OKC held serve, but I think Minnesota will come back game 2.
Go ahead, so what was your point you wanted to make?
I was going to say, like Nick said earlier, obviously it's game 1. You want to me, really win game 1. For me, obviously being a Wolves fan and really going for the Wolves to win this game is probably going to go to 7. I hate the fact that it did lose it. To me, it kind of puts you behind the 8 ball. But again, like when boxing, the first 4 rounds, what's the first thing you got to do, Nick? You feel your person out. You see what they like to do. Try to find a rhythm, try to find a tempo, trying to find what works for you and what doesn't. The fact that the Wolves lost, it got me a little antsy, a little upset. But I think we're gonna be all right next time, Ant, obviously 13 shots wasn't enough. Julius Randle was very efficient, and the rest of the team collectively, besides fuck the bench, excuse my language, forget the bench. The starters need to do what they need to do before we even worry about the bench, even though the Thunder have a better bench than the Wolves.
I mean, you got Julius Randle has 28. The rest of the guys that played had 60. You're not beating OKC with two guys in double figures. That's not going to happen. Points in the paint, Thunder 54, Wolves 20. Ant-Man was scoreless in the fourth quarter. And I thought they did a good job on Shea. Shea had 31 points, but it took him 27 shots to get those, Nick. So I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm making him work for everything that he's getting. Top 3 in steals. You got Lou Dort on ball, can defend. You got Jalen Williams, can defend. You bring in Carson Wallace, that can defend. You bring in Wiggins, that can defend. You bring in Isaiah Joe, that can defend. You got Chet and Hartenstein, that can protect the rim. You better get some cut. I'm talking about some hard cuts. I ain't talking about no lazy ass cuts. I'm talking about some hard cut diving. Hey, pick it and getting down the hill in a hurry, because if you don't, they're going to leave you around. You're going to stay around the three-point line. And then, again, 51 threes. That's not the Timberwolves game. 51 threes is not their game.
Another thing. Are either one of you worried? I'm not really worried. I'm just saying about Ant tweaking his ankle just a little bit. I think that might have affected him as far as his shooting and being efficient as well. Not really able to play the game he really wanted to play after messing it, hurting himself a little bit. I'm sure he probably went in there, got it wrapped up, maybe took a shot, whatever they need to do, just so we can get back in the game. You think that's going to affect them the rest of the series at any point?
I don't think it will. I think he'll be all right. He get that day off tomorrow. So whenever they play again, I think he'll be fine. But what Unc said, man, they got to move that rock, man, and they got to play faster. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, if they hold OKC to one shot, they got to get that thing up the court, and they got to go. They got to create easier opportunities. If not, they're going to be playing half court. And if that
and you playing 5-on-4 because Rudy Gobert is not an option for you.
Yeah, but he need to get every goddamn rebound and outlet that thing like Kurt Rambis and Kevin Love, and let's go.
He had a guy played 21 minutes. He's 7'2" tall. He had 3 rebounds tonight. He only had 3 more rebounds than me, and I got on. This is what I had on. Nick, this is what I had on the whole game right here. He had 3 more rebounds than me in these.
So this is what I say about that, because he's always in a help position, right? So he's always coming up to the free throw line or the smiley face. So he's out of position to rebound. So in his defense, I'll give him that.
Hell, they missed 41 shots. They missed 41 shots, and you missed 54 shots. So there's 93 shots that you had a chance to get a rebound, and you only got 3 of the 91. 3? Damn, Nick.
Hey,
I just gave you the best description I can to help the man out and see which one we do.
Hey, you know what another issue is also for the Wolves? As you get further into the playoffs, obviously the teams you play, they get much better. So not only do the Wolves need to do better shooting efficiently, and Julius Randle obviously was good tonight, but the supporting cast, including Anthony Edwards, who I say still, and I will keep saying it, is the face of the NBA. But Minnesota, they got to you pay double for your turnovers as well. Double for your turnovers, especially in a game like this where you have a team when SGA can go off, even though they kind of smothered him in the first half and he didn't really get going. He had 31, but hell, it took him 200 shots just to get to 31. But they got to limit the turnovers on offense and capitalize on the board as well.
Yeah, they had 17 turnovers, but 12 of them came from 3 players. Drew Randall had 5, McDaniels had 3, and Ant-Man had 4. Now, I'm not really concerned because, like, Julius Randle and Ant going to have turnovers because they handle the ball. They're your primary ball handlers. So they're going to probably be 3, probably 4 games. It would be nice if they kept it to 3 or under. That would be nice. But they're really not true point guards, and so they're gonna have turnovers. The Jew gonna get a couple of charging. He gonna get a walk because he forget that his right foot is the pivot, and he gonna pivot back to the left, and then he gonna try to dip up under you, and they gonna like and he's like, yeah, but we got you, bro. But Nick, you said something very interesting. You said they need to play faster. They need to play fast, but they don't need to be in a hurry. because if you play in a hurry, you're going to play right into OKC hands, and now they're getting the ball out. And like you said, when they turn the ball over, you got to realize you got 3 guys at the top. You turn it over, they gone. Them ain't big. That's not Hartenstein. That's not Chet Holmgren. You got 3 guards at the top. You turn it over, they get a deflection, and 2-3 dribbles, they're at the rim. Easy basket. I thought, like you said, I thought they played right into OKC hand. This game was very, very close. Okay, we might have a game. Because I was hoping after game 7, it used to be, game 7. Man, game 7's been being blowouts lately. So that being said, now let's go back to our originally scheduled programming. I thought we were going to have a really good game, Nick. I really did at the half. They were playing really well. And then with like 4 minutes into the third quarter, OKC stepped on the gas, and what was a 4-point lead for Minnesota, all of a sudden turned into a 3-point lead for OKC, a 7-point lead, and next thing you know, it's 12.
Yeah, I saw a quick adjustment though in the second half from the first half, and that was from OKC's offense. They moved the ball at a different position as the start. So the whole game, Minnesota's offense started out so high out on the court, and they never adjusted. OKC was pretty much playing the same way in the first half, but the coach went in, made some adjustments, started the offense a little bit, from the top to the corner, then back up to the top, and they created a little bit more space. Then guys, once you get that space, man, you're able to knock down them open shots. And Minnesota, they never had space all night. It was always clogged up for those guys.
They're going to, first of all, they're going to contest everything because at worst case scenario, you're going to have 3 defenders on the court. I didn't even mention Caruso, who might be arguably their best defender.
Yeah.
When you look at him and what he does as far as taking charges, as far as guarding the perimeter, guarding the big, it does not matter. We saw what he did with Yoke. They played an old boxing one. Nick, I can't remember when the last time you saw a boxing one. It had to be high school. But they played a boxing one primarily the entire game, and he did an unbelievable job. Yoke would feel for him on his left, and the next thing you know, he's already in front of him, gone to the right. He touch him on the right, now he's back to the left. He did a great job of that. And so when you look at what OKC has, of their 12, 13 guys that primarily play, 6 of them can defend at an extremely high level.
Yep.
You're not going to find that anywhere else in the NBA. When you could come off the bench and you got 4 guys that can defend at an elite level, and they can defend at the wing position, which very few teams have wing defenders. Everybody, I want a 3-and-D guy. How many 3-and-D guys they got? They got Caruso, they got Williams, they got Dort, they got Wallace, they got Wiggins. They're loaded at that position. And you got 2 big guys that will protect the rim. They rebound, they understand their job to the fullest. OKC is going to be a tough out. And I agree with you, Nick. I think they're going to have to look. Chris Finch is very good. I think he was named Coach of the Year a couple of years back. Hadn't he been Coach of the Year? Hmm? Oh, Ash. So you got cigar ash on your face.
I do.
Yeah, your name Ocho,
well,
right?
Hey, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you because that messing damn makeup.
Yeah.
I got on Fenty right now too.
I don't know what that is, but you need to get it off.
I'm good now.
But yes. So Nick, what the big adjustment? Even with that adjustment, do you think the Wolves have enough to deal with the Thunder?
I think it's going to be a long series, and I think they do. Like I said, I think they are going to make them adjustments. Chris Finch and the coaching staff, they're going to go watch film, and they're going to see all the mistakes that they made offensively. And, you made a good point about, OKC's perimeter defenders, their wing defenders. And what makes them even better is they're good team defenders.
Yes.
Sometimes these guys can be good on-ball defenders, and they can just stick to their man and not be in help position, not be in dig position. You know what I'm saying? Those guys, not only do they defend the ball good, they defend the help side good. And that makes it even tougher to go against them guys. But Minnesota, they have enough. They have enough to make it an even series. And, I'm not too much worried about that game 1, because game 1 is, like Ocho said earlier, it's a fill out. So now they got to go and make their adjustments. I think this series is going to go a long way. So buckle up.
I was thinking, Nick, because the Thunder just got out of an extended series, 7 long games, a short day of rest. Minnesota, they've been resting. They've been off damn near a week. I was like, man, they about to come in and run up and down the court. But it looked like that. It looked like it was reversed. Those guys were the guys that had heavy legs, and OKC was getting up and down the court.
I never figured that out because that's always been a thing, right? They'll be like, well, they got rest. They're going to be well rested. Well, sometimes, motherfucker, you're too tired. and that other team that just came out that game 7, guess what? They in the flow.
Right.
They can work against who knows how it really works. You know what I'm saying? And tonight I was expecting OKC to come out the way they did, slow. They came out real slow. But
they did that Sunday
because Minnesota didn't do anything. So as they came out slow, at some point OKC was going to pick it up. I was just like, damn, OKC fans, they sitting on their hands right now. Minnesota got to take advantage of that, and they never did. They never did.
Hold on, Nick. You say the game going 7, right? You said good things about the Wolves.
I think it's gonna go. I think it's gonna be a long series.
It's gonna be a long series, but I want to know who you got. Who you got winning?
I like Minnesota. I like Minnesota.
Okay.
I like Minnesota.
You know your business. You know your business.
Yeah, I like Minnesota. But I'm gonna tell you this though. So all 4 of these teams that's in the playoffs, man, anybody can win it. Anybody can win a championship. That's the beauty of this one. So it ain't like it's no clear-cut favorite. Any other time you may be the Lakers favorite or Boston favorite. You got 4 teams in this thing right now that they all can win it. So I like that.
Nick, you had a story. We was talking off camera, and you said you got a story to tell. You wanted to tell the story. What's the story you wanted to tell?
Both of y'all, man. Both of y'all played me like I was a little peon, man.
When?
Both of y'all. Ocho, a couple years ago, Ocho. I'm walking through the Cincinnati airport. Yeah. You got your shades on. You probably couldn't see. You know what I'm saying? And you walking so goddamn fast. I did like, what up, Ocho? You hit me with it. You walking, so I'm looking behind you. I'm like, damn, is Ray Lewis chasing you or something? And then I had to call you. I had to call